Hello and welcome to Live Coding with Gerph. We are on the fourth part of this very simple, should be able to do it in one session, integration of the templates into the window manager. Should be pretty easy, honestly it should have been, but there were a number of problems. We had problems getting the assembler to integrate properly. We had problems with how the assembler worked because it wasn't obvious in the window manager. Assembly. The debugging was needed for things, and we had some bugs in the original code as well, which hadn't been noticed. So this is all pretty good. We're nearly there, and we are at the point of, well, last week we were at the point after doing a very long session of about 5 hours. We won't be that long this today. I really hope. Where we're going to go and try to just knock off this last set of bugs. Hopefully there's only one, but we will see. Yes, that's the plan today. I'm expecting that it'll be relatively easy, but we'll see. Okay, so let's just cover the basics here. So the original C code that we are integrating is here at the Viscos Wimp Templates area. So that's this repository is where we actually find the C code, and that is submoduled into the Viscos 5 window manager, which we forked from the standard one. So it's in here. It should just work pretty much. It does in its standard version just work, but in the branched version, which is on a separate branch at the moment called C Templates Experiment, that code is not quite working. We will get there, but it's not quite there yet. So that's our current situation. Hello, spanners. We are going to try, he says, this is 5 clicks ahead and 5 clicks behind master. Why are we behind? Oh, that was updated with some extra pulls. I should probably merge those in. Let's see if we can merge those in, shall we? I mean, that seems like a pretty sensible thing to do since we're now lagging fixes. I mean, they're not important fixes, but they are fixes. This is the Wimp templates. That's the C. That's the wrong. This is the wrong window. Doesn't matter. We'll just create some more more terminals for this. As if I haven't got another 20 terminals in the other displays on the other workspaces. So this is Viscos 5. Oh no. Ah, right, we're inside it, that's why. So what we want to do is check out master, make sure we've got that up to date. That's not quite at the bottom of the screen, is it? There we go. Oh no, I'm dragging it. Don't drag, resize. That's better. That's better. Right, so we've pulled that. Check out the C experiment again, and then merge in master. Yep, there we go. And that should just work because it's only the CI operations that are being added. So yes, this is what we've got. The templates experiments directory has got a few extra things in it. We've got, as I say, the C code. In the S directory here, we've got some extra C swides and some utils. So that's how we call Swix, and this is how we call how we interface with the system. So this is implementations of strcpy, strlen, things like that, just so that they're there and we've got them able to be used by the system. All the file operations, so they can sort of look like the file ones. And then we had some problems with division, which I somehow managed to get the macro usage wrong, so I just pinched it out of the shared C library. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to go and try and find out what is crashing, what is going wrong, because it's kind of weird. It is kind of weird. So what we'll do to start this up, first thing we need to do is to go and get the system running. So we use rccmu, so we've got a special version of that. for debugging, which we can fire up with this working directory. So here we go, and then I need this runs it in a VNC session, so I just need to VNC to it. So I have a look over here. Miscos5, that is the one I want to use, I think. Yeah, that looks like it. Get out of the way. I want to move this out of the way now. Thank you very much. Right. So here's the Miscos5 with the debugger in it. You can see it's got the debug menu options there. And what we need to do here is to configure the system to not boot and then, yeah, do some other bits. So let's do that. So configure no boot. So we can actually load things at the beginning. And then we also want to copy some files around. So copy from line editor. Oh, we haven't got line editor. Oh, that's irritating. Oh well. In which case I'll do it by the graphical UI because it'll be a bit easier. So from the shared directory, we've got a CP tool. This, if I just load that, I can show you. And this copies the logging file that I'm going to use called T, very, very imaginatively named, into our shared directory so we can access it on the outside world. And the other one, I don't know what that was, but that loaded up. The other one is ST. So there's this one here, which starts the logging, loads our syslog, because we were logging to syslog at one point. I don't think we're doing that now. And then we're going to use the window manager, load the window manager, and then boot. So that's what we do there. So those scripts just need to go at the top of the repository. Ooh, that's nice. Scroll wheel's working. Scroll wheel is being passed through. Oh, how nice is that? Oh, I'm over the moon. That is wonderful. I'm yes, quite pleased with that. So that's quite good. Right, so having done that, we should be able to reboot and then fire up our new window manager. So to start it, we run ST for start. And that'll log things, and then we go into here. So there's no debugging on the system at the moment. What it was doing was it was getting to here, and then it was crashing with an odd error message. But it's not doing it now. It's not doing it now. It was crashing. Honest, it was. Edit. Basic in a task. Oh no, I don't. Oh, that's not right. That. Also, we're not running on a Raspberry Pi. You're lying there, mate. Thank you. That looks like it's launching it in a window, which it's not. I suppose maybe it would be showing it like that if it was in a window, I guess, but no matter. Right, okay, StrongEd. Yeah, StrongEd's loaded. Let's just try all of these and see whether we get. Yeah, that's fair enough. We don't actually have a CD drive. I think I did that last time. Standard configure. Looks like it's faded out, actually. It's really weird, that. Again, I think I ran this and checked that things were working, which they seem to be. Doesn't look like there's anything weird going on there. Yeah. Let's go back to configure. Screensavers. Is there in screen? Because we can kick off a screensaver or two. Oh, look, we've got different screensavers. Maybe we'll see something. No, I don't think any of these are particularly special. Well, yeah, that is sort of like rain, I suppose. Pogo, that bounces something around the screen or something. Oh dear. How very, very Archimedes. Ugh. Oh, and I've lost me. How did I lose that? Why did that exit? That was not very nice. Disk ball. Was that because I pressed escape? No, what happened there? Everything seemed to crash. So this ball, did I click? I thought I clicked try. Maybe I didn't. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's got a terrible, I can't move the pointer because it will do it, but it's got terrible aliasing around the outside of that masked sprite. Really quite ugly. Not sure what happened there. Is that because of, I don't know what went wrong there. It just lost the entire configure app. Aegon logo, slide smear, shred. What's that do? Anything interesting? No, it's a drip basically. Oh, I guess it's a shredder, although that's not quite the. Yeah, fair enough. Don't care. It's a bit slow and. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's all working. So let's have a look at some of the other things. Otter browser we know doesn't work. NetSurf we tried and it was fine. Oh, NetSurf is not fine. Also, that didn't work properly either. Oh, and we've got a log out of it. That's quite nice. What did we do? So we were load template. Oh, this is good. I like this. We're actually crashing inside inside the template code. I mean, I'm not sure how we're crashing inside the template code, but we are, so that's kind of fun. So it was in template trying to load something, so it's possible that it was returning the wrong size or something, or we've corrupted the malloc stack. What's it? Segmentation fault. It doesn't actually say that the malloc was corrupt or anything. Okay then. Let us put some debug in and see what we can get out of it, I suppose. I mean, no, what we should actually do is try and restart this and see whether we can get it to crash. So we've got a few apps loaded and then NetSurf. But let's just see if we can just get NetSurf loaded, minimal reproduction case, and then we'll see what happens. I'll just take my shirt off. It's very warm in here. Very, very warm. Oh. Yeah, what's it say? 23.5. That's not terrible. It's hot, but not terrible. Right, start up. Okie dokie. Let's see what we can do. David Ramsden's also built a updated version of RPCMU which will automatically pull down the latest version of RISC-OS 5, which is kind of cool as an idea. I think we might get that merged in at some point. It's sort of being experimented with. Right, reproducible. We love reproducibility. So yeah, finished on the same time, at the same time, and yeah, we had a dialog template error. Cool. Wonderful. So now let's go and turn on the debug, which we do by uncommenting the debug lines in here. Let's find them all. Twice template and the module one. Let's just do them to begin with. We might add some more later, but for now this is what we'll do. And then, come on, do we have a history in here? No. It's just, oh, that'll do. And then we can go and fire it up. Come on, you're being a bit slow to even start up here. Thank you very much. I think that was just Docker kicking itself a little bit. Right, that's there. Find the screen sharing, please. Thank you. Excuse me a second. Can I just quit that because it confuses me? Thank you. Right. Oh yeah, I want to reboot again, don't I? So that we've actually can load the new version with the debugging in. I mean, fingers crossed we'll actually get a crash here. If we don't, then yeah, so what? We can cope with it. We can try and wheedle our way around it, because last time we had debug things that were only crashing in non-debug mode, which was very annoying. Yeah, lots of stuff happening. Right, here goes NetSurf. Excellent, still failing. Then it loaded a whole bunch more templates. Oh, because StrongEd loaded. Oh, that's annoying. So we'll get a mess of StrongEd loading after. Oh, let's start that again. Load StrongEd first, so it doesn't have it confusing the output, and then we'll load NetSurf. I'm hoping that that'll just remove any confusion in there. Right, so there we go. StrongEd loading, all of its templates loaded, and it's up. Yeah, I don't care about that. Thank you. Now NetSurf. Bang. Now close all the logging. Thank you very much. And let's have a look at what we got, and then copy the log into our shared directory. It's only 60k. It's not a big file. Where's my T? Oh, T's here, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, there's going to be loads of these, isn't there? Because we're going to be loaded lots and lots of files. Right, spin to the end. So here we go. This is what it looks like. So we've got pairs of things here. So we've got find template, needs this much space, because if the window space is, if the window pointer is 0 or -1, then we'll need to have a look at that. Oh, Bag of Spanners suggested, do they load successfully in the template editor? That's a good idea, because then we'll have a reproduction case. Okay, we're going to look at that in a minute. So I'll just explain what we're doing here. So we get need, which tells us that how much space we're going to need, and then we've got this is the templates. This is where we actually write them to memory. So that's what we do there. And then repeat for the info, and then we start for page info. So it looks like page info is a problematic one, but it might not be that page info is actually the problem. It may be that something earlier on has caused it to crash, caused it to get corrupted, and this is the one that breaks. One of the interesting things here is that we printed out how much we needed, and this is how much we used. So they're coming out correct at the moment. You can see these correct. Oh, hang on. Need used. Yeah, there we go. Need used. So these are all looking okay. I mean, there might be that, although we're saying these figures, we may still be overwriting things afterwards. So there may still be something else going wrong. But at the moment, that's what it's looking like. It's looking at page info. So one of the things that Dave has just suggested is trying it with just the template editor. So let's try it with just the template editor. Template editor is in, well, I thought it was in programming. Yeah, there we go, WinEd. Let's clear the screen, and then if we load the templates in here, resources, UK, NN. Okay, there we go, there's some templates. Load the templates. Interesting. They do load in there. Or at least it hasn't crashed in there. That's the other bit, I suppose. So that's kind of interesting too. Yeah. Okay. So our repro case is StrongEd, then NetSurf, because this doesn't work. But we do have this page info here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these templates out to the top of the disk, and then we can play with them in our test loader, because then we can just apply things generally. So this is going to be copy this as what should we copy it as? I guess NetSurf. What? Why are you letting me? Seriously, are you only letting me have 10 characters in this? Oh my gosh. Yes, we are running Riscos 2 here, it's alright. But maybe Riscos 3, I suppose. But Riscos 3 had image files, so you could have longer disks. Anyway, NS templates then. We'll save it as in there. Right, and then we can copy that out. So copy. Oh, why am I doing that? No, I can just put the blooming things in the right place, can't I? NS templates in there. Thank you. Because we can. Right. So now we can actually test things with our test programs. So we have a look up here. We see. Oh yeah. I don't want to put it in there. I want to put it inside the C code area. Where's the C code area? There we go. That's the one. Come on. You're not letting me. Double click isn't working. It thinks I'm dragging. Why does it think it's so slow that I'm dragging? That's weird. All right, well, we'll move it manually then. That's not a... Yeah, we can cope with that. Copy, move NS templates into Riscos Wimp templates, right. So in this area, this is the Riscos templates here, we've got a little main program that will try and test these things. And we can give it a file name and a template that we want it to load. So that'll basically check that this is working, which we know it kind of is because it loads into the template editor. But we can also do other tests in here as well, which will be quite a bit more useful. So let's give that a go, shall we? Into Riscos Wimp templates, build it. Excuse me. Ooh, being slow again. Why is it taking a bit there? That's a bit weird. I mean, I know I've made some changes to the build environment recently, but I've slowed it down quite a lot. Okay, we'll just have to cope with that for now, but I'm going to look into that later. I've made some changes to the build environment so we can integrate better with some more modern tooling. And it's possible I've broken things and our startup is a little long now. Well, it's definitely slower anyway. So let's see what we get out of that. So we can actually run the test program, common, what's it called? Command AIF32.wimp templates. Actually, didn't we have that in the history? Oh, now what's going on? What have I done? Just hang on a second. Something odd is. Is it just being slow because I've got RPCMU running? Is that all it is? Because it could be. That wasn't what I meant to do. Boom, boom, boom. Let's move this over to here. And then, oh, no, that didn't work. Pick it up. Move to there. Nope, come on. Pick up and move to there. Thank you. So what we got? OBS Studio. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it. Okay, so we're still running the VM for. Oh, of course, we're running the VM for Docker because that's where the RPCMU is running in. It's running quite heavy there. I wonder if we can reduce CPU usage. Oh, it means resetting. No, we'll reset it then. Has that helped? Start the. Oh. Hang on, look, we're down to tiny amounts there. That's much better, isn't it? And now, yeah, that's dropping down our list. 4%. Yeah, it's much better. It's not brilliant, but it's still better than it was. Right, so that may not be crippling my machine quite so much now. So, yeah, there we go. Right, what was I doing? Oh, yes, I was going to try and run it, wasn't I? So I was looking for AIF32 dot, something in the history. That's the font qualifier stuff I was doing recently. Text render. Oh, come on. AIF32.wimp templates. No. 32 dot wimp templates. No. 32 dot wimp templates. 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 32 dot wimp well, there's one of them. It's making this very slow to start. Oh yeah, and of course I've changed the command line since then. We've got a load command that loads this one, and we can say that and it'll try and load all of them, I think. Oh no, it just tries to load one of them, or maybe that's all it does. Right, anyway, let's see what we can do in here. NS templates. I only seem to load the first one. Is that what it's meant to do? Yeah, apparently that's all it does. If you give it just one. I wonder if we tell it to enum, it'll only enumerate them all. I wonder if I can get it to do all of them. How do we do that then, do you think? I know what I'll do. I'll make it, if you give it a certain string, it'll go and load all of them, and then just check that they're okay. So here's the template name, finding template. It does it by number, so okay, this is, I don't want to enumerate them, I just want to find them by number. Because can we access the internals of it here? Because accessing the internals is probably just fine for this. No, but I can do index to name and it will return null if it's invalid. So there we go. We can, no, that's not what I wanted. Oh gosh, back to here, back to main, please. Right. So if we give it a special string, so what's the special string we'll use? All. We'll use the string all. Yes, it means that we can't use a template called all. If template underscore name. No, I'm not in Python, so I have to use strucump. I can't just use equals. All. You specify in capitals. And then, oh, we need to initialize all of these things as well, don't we? They need to go in there. So we're going to have a load me a template. Oh, actually, oh, that's a good point. Actually, we could probably do this as let's change the logic here. So instead of this being load template, we'll call this load command, because that's the command we've passed to it, and that takes an argc argv, and then this one will take a template name and a template file. Oh, it's already been given the file. That's okay then. So this bit goes over here and says, yeah, couldn't do that. Otherwise, the name is null, and we just pass it on. So load template here will do load template. The description is OT. Oh no. Load a specific template and check the behavior. OT points to the open template we are operating on, and template name is the template to load or null for first. And do we return null? Should we return null, or should we return an error? We should probably say that there was an error or not. So what we'll actually do is we'll just give it a success or a fail. We'll start out with success being true, and at the end here, so if there is any error returned, then success equals false. Return success. I'm going to change it to returning true if successful, false if fails, blah 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 blah. Void becomes a bool, even a bool. Let me change this to be const char star template name equals null. And also we can remove it from here as well. Right. So what we're going to do is, we exit one there. We don't want to exit one. We want to exit return false there. Just return failing. So yeah, that looks good. So what we can do here is if template underscore name, no, strucump, all 0, load all the templates. Didn't mean that. Otherwise, just do one. Ooh, that was a bit weird. Otherwise, all success equals success there. Success equals load template template. Keep doing that. OT comma template name. If success and as you can see, I've done it again. Template, put some single quotes around that. Maybe we should propagate this out to the outside world. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? All success is true. Turn all. Right, on this one, we want to load all the templates. So we want to go through them all with an index at 0 for, oh, in fact, we don't just assign it there, do we? You can do it in here for index equals 0 forever, index plus plus. Right, and then we do, I need a way of getting the template name, don't I? So it's this, I saw it a moment ago, what was it called? Index to name, there we go. And that returns a pointer into our structure. There we go. So what we can do here is template name equals that for the index, with the open template being passed in. And then we just do the same code as is in here. I mean, that's just so we print it out. Oh, and we probably want to print out the message saying that we're what we're loading. So let's do that here. Printf loading all templates from %s, where that is templates name. Oh, I've done this wrong, haven't I? Because that should be, oh, it is template name, yes. We don't get past the file name, sorry. Loading all templates, that's all we need to do there. And this bit here, we can say, let's have some separators, loading template number %i, which is called this, index template name. There we go. Why don't we put another new line at the beginning so it makes it nice and separated. And if we failed at this point, we report false, and then it'll go and exit. So we'll give that a whirl, shall we? I mean, it probably will not work. Viscous ammo, see whether it will work. We build. I have a feeling I saw something that was a char star that should have been a const char star. So there's definitely something odd I need to fix there. I put the functions the wrong way around. Oh, bother. Right, load command oh yeah, so load command needs to go here, so that it's invoked first, and then in the main we need to actually invoke load command, not load template. There we go. And there we go. There's the qualifier losing implicit cast. That's 97. That's probably moved, hasn't it? It's template name there. What's that warning about? Possible null pointer dereference. Oh, yes, very good point. If template name is not equal to null, and thank you. A little bit silly there. Could have broken that quite badly. And I think templates. Come on, there's a const char star template there. Okay, let's try it again. It's quite slow, this. I don't know what's being so slow about it. 56. Interesting. Implies that find identifier doesn't take a const char star. Oh, a const control star string. That's probably better, isn't it? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. And then I'll need to change it in the templates code here. Const there. Because we won't modify it. This is so slow. I wonder if it's starting the shell that actually takes the time. Could be. Yeah, look at that. That's not very good, is it? Yeah, that starts up way faster. Let's do it that way. Okay, so at least I've got something there. Still got a qualifier losing implicit caster pointer. What? Was I doing the wrong thing here in main line 56? This one here. Template num, OT, template name. Template name is a const char star. It thinks this is not taking a const. Go into the header file again. Let's just have a look at the header file. Is this the thing about const needing to be on a particular place in relation to the definition and the pointer? My brain isn't quite in that mood at the moment, so let's const control what was it called? Control string. Let's see. Yeah, that's now worked. Okay, I'm just going to delete all the object files just so that we've got a clean build of everything. Yeah, that's really fast. It is definitely the startup of the shell that's causing it to go slow. Yeah, it's going to be there'll be something dumb. I will find it, but something dumb. Right, Amu has built it, so now we can run the except I can't run Pyro from here. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. What I can do is pick that up and do host run. Is it host? Host something. Host run, there we go. That command. And then if instead of that we put in all in capitals at the end, it should try and do all of them. There we go. Nice and quick and easy. So it is loading all of them now. So we'll get to see what exactly is going on there. Which is cool. So this is quite nice because it's at least exercising the interface. So what we're going to do after this, whoa, badness, we love that. Oh, that's ace. It's always good to get excited about things crashing. I thought it was going to go okay. Loading template, quote, oh, it probably ran off the end. It probably returned a null pointer, and so it went, oh, I'm done then. Yeah, I didn't put a terminating condition in, did I? That's why. Yeah. Oops. If template name is null, break. There we go. That's where we're finished. So that's probably all it was. There. That's. At least it managed to get through a lot of it without it having any issues. That's quite nice. I'm good with that. Right. Okay. So now load template. Let's go back to this function. And what we can do here is we can start doing something a bit more clever. So let's use hash define. Oh, that's that. Read template here. So this is actually not doing it the way we call it in the outside world. So let's try and do it the same way. So to do it the same way, first what we do is, so this is the thing here. We initialize the buffer with size 0, and we initialize the indirect with size 0. And then what will happen is that'll tell us that it's gone and allocated the buffers in here, so we can see how much space it's going to use. So printf first. Okay. Sizing the template. We'll put some spaces in. Sizing the template. Window needs win equals buffer data underscore, is it required size? I think it's required size. Let's have a quick look. Failed records required. Yeah, buffer data required. There we go. Oh no, no, that was not the way. I'd already used required, so I wanted pass in buff win. Okay. And then same goes for the indirected. Need indirected is buff. Okay, so window needs %i bytes colon need win, and same goes for need ind. And let's put some spaces in so we can have those nicely lined up. Okay, so we've got those, and then we're going to need some variables for this. So int need win equals 0. Oh, they'll be initialized here, won't they? So we don't need to care. Right. So now we go and set them up. So we've got the size, and put the sizing there. I'm only putting little comments here, even though it's in the text, because then it gives me a green marker that I can see where we're doing something different. It's half. That's my hours. I've not taken a break. Let us disable that for a few hours. Right, there we go. Ooh, actually, if instead I disabled it for no, enable again, disable it for an hour. Yeah, it'll definitely remind me to take a break when it comes up to time to do so. So this is where we're loading the template. We're telling it we're telling it the size that we need as being need win, and the size we need for ind as need ind. So it's got exactly the size it needs. And we're also going to go and clear the buffer as well. So magic x99. There we go. go and clear the buffer. So the buffer is called window, and there's another one called indirect. So we'll clear this. So memset buffer. Hang on, did it call? No, it's not called buffer. It's called window. Sorry, I said it was called window. So yeah, and that's going to use the magic value, and we're going to do that for the size of window. Okay, and we'll do the same thing for indirect. So I'll clear the whole thing to that value. And then here we go. We print out a bunch of things at the end, which is what we want. But we also want to check that data here, that we haven't corrupted anything. So let us. We've got an index variable, index I. For I. Oh, how do you write it? For loops. 0, I is less than size of. Oh no, not size of. Need win. Size of bracket. Window. Excuse me. We have some spaces in here, so this is where we do finding template, sizing template. This is where we get an error. So put the errors with some spaces in there, because that's all part of the processing. I'm going to do here checking for corruption. Need win. So if window bracket I bracket is not equal to magic, window block has data corruption after buffer at offset at index send I. So that's going I and I minus read win. Okay. Oh, and if it gets to that point, we should report success as false. Let's put an error in there like that, nice and easy. And break as well, because otherwise we're going to get a whole load of reports in there. And then we do the same for the indirect buffer. Indirect. Hello there. Ooh. Ineskavadar. Ineskadar. Thank you. Having a good day. Thank you. We are making changes to some of the test code that I've written for loading a window template in C. This is for the RISC-OS operating system, and it is somehow breaking. We're getting some, what I think is memory corruption somewhere. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in some checks on all of the data blocks that we've written to just check that we haven't overwritten the end of the buffer. Indirect. And we'll see whether that is actually what is going wrong, because it might not be. There might be something completely different happening, but we'll have a go. So build it. Did I not put a need ind in there? Yeah, I didn't put a need ind in there. Need ind. Right, build it, test it. I mean, it took a while to run as well. Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, so this time, I was kind of hoping it would go and crash at this point, and we'd get something that was telling us we'd corrupted something. That's quite annoying, isn't it? Because if that's not the case, then memory corruption is not likely to be the problem. I've forgotten what the window was that was being a problem last time. Did it tell us? It did. Page info was the actual problem we were seeing it on. Yeah. It got to 32, tried loading a template called quote quote, but that wasn't null. Do we have the... Let me enumerate them again. Just enumerate what they were. Enum. Oh, you've got to give it the file name. I mean, S template. That doesn't look very helpful to me. Oh, it does. Yes, it does. So yeah, SSL cert, and then it gives us the end of list. Does that mean that my checks for the end of list are not working? That would be dumb. Where's the command gone? So load command here. Go all the way around. If template name is null, break. So we break out of that, and then we return. So why didn't that break? Did it return something that was different? Oh, maybe returning index 32 just returned index 32 even though it wasn't valid. Where's find index to name? If it's greater than or equal to. Whoops. There we go. There's a bug. Oh, well, that's fine. But we didn't get any corruption in here. Nothing here detected any memory corruption. So that's interesting too. Let's have a look at the, so we can find, what was it called, page info was the template. Now, let's just load that one template, so we can tell it to load page info here. So it says it needed 376. It got an indirect size of 98. It seems to have done it okay. It hasn't, obviously the corruption is seemingly passed. Let me just check the corruption check and see if that looks sane. Start at the need winner index, move link to the end. Yeah, that looks all right. Although that should be minus need ins there if it was to fail. So that's a little wrong, but well, I think that's okay. I think it's all right. There's always the possibility we left something uninitialized. Possible. I mean, I can check that. Well, I can't check it easily, can I? All right, so interesting things there. We've got although let's do it outside the environment. Right, so here we go. Let's load templates, sizing. So yeah, if we just commit all of that, we've now got at least a way to commit c/main. I needed to change some things to make that work, didn't I? Let's select the changes. So I'm going to use Sublime Merge to go and put in the changes to a change set so that we can actually get that fixed. Let's just upgrade that since it wanted to. It's always a good idea to keep on top of your tools. Here we are. Yep, don't care. Right, fair enough. Right, so all of the things in main I want to stage. Don't want that. Don't want that. This one was one of the ones that we needed. That's a bug fix. I'll keep that for a separate commit. That's a fix there. I probably also want to just make sure it works for the module. So viscous ammo -F Oh yeah, except I'm in the wrong directory, aren't I? Oh no, no, of course. Ammo minus F makefile module. There we go. No, it does work. Okay, that's all good. So now if we look at the status, you can see in the other terminal we've got a few things staged. Git commit, add corruption checks to the load exerciser script. Load exerciser script tries to load all the templates and then checks that the data that was loaded did not overrun the end of the buffer. Right, so that's all pretty new anyway. Yeah, good. And we had a bug fix as well. The bug fix was this one. So git commit fix for templates index to name failing to return null or last item off by 1 error for a valid index. Let's push that so that people can see it. And in case you're missing it, not that one, just take to the top of the repository and then switch branches. Yeah, that's the branch I wanted. This is the repository. I know I mentioned it before, but now you've got a link to the actual whatever it's called. Brain, come on. Branch, that's the word. Oh dear, brain's being tired today, isn't it? Right, so we've got some debug in the templates code, but not in one of the other files. So let's, yeah, in the module, in the templates, SWI templates, but not in the templates files. That's the interface to SWIs, and this is the one that actually does the loading. So maybe we'll get a bit more if we put it in some debug in here as well. Save that, and since we didn't get a crash when we built this before, oh, I probably want to since we didn't get a crash, I think I'm going to go and rerun it and actually see what happens inside the RISC-OS 5 environment. And see what we get out of that. It's a bit frustrating it's not actually crashing. I mean, it's coming up with a segfault, yes, but we're not actually, I suppose we're not really seeing what the actual problem is. Again, this would be much more useful if I could actually run it on RISC-OS Pyromaniac. Maybe it'd be useful to spend some time on that, making sure it builds on Pyro. I mean, it's probably not too hard to make happen. I just need to fix some of the odd bugs that I'm getting in there. Oh, let's have a C first. Let's have a C. So, oh no, that's not the right button. That was the button I wanted. Start. Okay. And as we know, the way to cause this to see, this is an entirely separate error. It looks like that we're not getting the long alignments there. That does look like there's a corruption in the indirect strings or something going wrong with them. It definitely looks like there's something going wrong with them. But there's multiple problems here. The fact that that's generating us code 2, which is printing things to the which is failing to do things properly. That's definitely an issue. Should we see if we can fix that? No, don't exit. That's not what I wanted. Let's shut down and reboot, and that'll get us back to a clean state. Right, so instead of write 0, let's also have, if I put it in, so there's the write hex external string that we did. Yeah, that's the actual function for that. So if we do another one here that is oswrite control, we pass into this a const char star s. So this is going to be, because we know in some places that things are control terminated, we should do them differently. In fact, if they're control terminated, we should have them as control strings, shouldn't we? Like that, control strings. Yeah, that's char c while star s c equals star s is greater than, or greater than or equal to space, sorry, oswrite c c. Actually, that is the complete implementation, isn't it? That is the full implementation of that code. Good. I like that. So what we want to do is we want to make that write control function used in place of some of these write zeros. So, oh, hang on. In fact, if we make all of them into a write control here, actually that one's always going to be a 0. The first one is always going to be a 0 because it's the string that we're our message. It's the parameter message that's the control one. So there we go. Make that there. Yeah, I think that probably will just make all of it write safely now. Should we see? Oh, so slow. Seriously, it's weird how slow it's become. 149. So that's ended up being a const char star file name. Oh, I'll just cast the blooming thing in the top of the file. That's not what I wanted either. I know it's not a good idea, but it'll at least clean that up. Okay, so now we should have a much cleaner way of this working, I think. Here we go, this one, st. So we should get logs messages out that are safer all round. Ooh. Is it me, or does that also seem a bit faster? No, I don't think it is faster. I don't think it is faster. Okay, strong ed. That gets us this. And that's oh, of course I put loads more debug in, so it's writing more stuff, so it looks like it's doing more and therefore feels faster. Right, now we can load netsurf. And quit. Right, F12 spool, copy the file. We're now up to 844k. That's a bit bigger. Oh, sorry, 825k, whatever that's, yeah, that size. Little bit bigger, but we can just spin to the end and have a look. So we've got to go from the beginning. So this is where we're doing find template page info. This is the icon data, not written. So these are plain icons, they don't have anything. Of course, it says not written because there's no what do we call it? It's in there. There's no buffer memory there, and then the titles in icons we can see. So all of this, yeah, looks okay, but You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump to the very top and I'm going to look for the error box. So you know we had the those error boxes appear, and they, here we are. So this is where we load the error box code. So we should have in this, what's it called? An L validation string should be coming up. And if it isn't putting the L in, then that'll be why it's breaking. So that's the all of the output there. And this is where we're actually loading it. So this is the validation string for the L. And it looks like the validation string is there, which is interesting. That's quite fun. I'm not convinced why that would be failing, but we can sort of see something here. So if we do, where's run gone to? Why is there no run in here? I'm sure there used to be a new task option in there. Error foo. There, that's left aligned, but not. It's not a long enough message for us to see the output, is it? So let's try again. This is a long message to see if it wraps properly. It does not. It does not. Well. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I'm wondering if when we write the string in for the main text, we're not actually allocating enough indirected space for it. I have a feeling that might be the reason, because we should have a string padded to that length. What do we actually do in there? So if you go into the templates, so we do this is the indirect handling path, string indirect. So this takes in our structure, the offset we want to read from, the length of the indirection buffer, or might as well for any length, okay, and then where we're going to store the indirect text. Oh, we saw the length. No, where we saw the indirect text buffer, yes, that's so we can pull it out again. All right, so here we go. We read the string and we write bytes into there. Fair enough. If we ever reach the end of the buffer, then we terminate and we just write a 0, which is what we do here. Then we come to here and we write the padding. And the padding is the length minus the size we've currently written. Isn't that back to front? Isn't that back to front? That should be there. There was no padding being written because we'd corrected the offset path and then we were doing the, oh, that's stupid. I think that's the bug. I think that's the bug. All right, let's build it again and see if we've now got a fix, that fixed. It would be nice if it was. It would be very, very nice if it was. All right, so we need to reboot the machine again and then start up its testing. Oh, nice stretch there. Start up. All good fun. We're pretty light on viewers today. I'm a little bit disappointed. Only a little, because this is just fun and people can watch things after the event. I know that somebody dropped me a message to say that they were traveling today, so there was a Risk-Off show yesterday, so people will be potentially coming back from that. I'm not quite so sure what the why there's a huge attraction in having shows these days, but that's fine. It's just the way that people want to do stuff. Come on, come on. Lots of stuff. Yep, yep. I know, go away. And then load NetSurf and pray. NetSurf didn't crash. I've not looked at Ars Technica in ages. Ooh, very slow. Oh my gosh. Maybe the make the system less more responsive is not. So yeah, there's a bunch of things there, but our handling of CSS and things in that browser is not wonderful. Highlander is 40. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Highlander in ages. Dave says they've been worn out from all the glittering Riscos gals. That sounds like it's probably the case. Right, our other test we had, 7 megabytes for that. Yeah, well, that's not surprising, I suppose. Error. This is a long error message to see if we are wrapping properly. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah, we're looking like we've got a real thing there. So I think that was our bug. I think that was the bug, as in the last thing we needed to do. And I think we're therefore good to go and get this stuff committed. Finally, hi Helen, thank you. Yes, we've managed to kill the cockroach, the thing that runs away whenever you try looking for it. Right, so we have some changes in here. What do we have? Oh, that's just the, yeah, let's go back to this one. Some changes in the C code. This is a C code. So this is, oh, except I can't check that there because of how it's handled. Discuss Wimp Templates. Yeah. So what we got in here, we got some debug. Right, we need to turn the debug off again because we need to test it with debug turned off. Because if we don't test it with debug turned off and it breaks, then we look stupid. Well, more stupid. Turn off the debug. Twice templates. So nobody's really had much of a comment on this sort of thing, but there is the danger, of course, that adding in C code means that it's much more, much larger. The code size becomes bigger, and that's quite a real issue. However, it's not an issue that I really care that much about because having dense code which is unmaintainable, as in it can only be maintained by a few specialized people who really know what they're doing, isn't very useful, whereas having code that is maintainable by more people and people who aren't even from the platform is far more useful. So size-wise does not bother me in the slightest. One of the arguments that people have used for wanting to keep the size down to 4 megabytes is because the Riscos ROM is 4 megabytes, and again, who cares about that, because ROMs can be any size you like. You can make them pretty much whatever you want, because everything all these days they're all loaded from disk. So who cares? You can move modules to be soft loaded. There was always the 3 applications, draw, paint and edit, that were in ROM. I think they're still in ROM. Let me just confirm whether they are. Pretty sure they are. If we just do modules, we probably see them. Yeah, look, edit, draw, paint, alarm, chars and help are all in ROM, and they're taking what's that, about 60,000 hex, 60,000 hex. What's 60,000 hex come to? Basic print and 60,000 divided by 1024. 384k. Now 384k is tiny, but that's 384k you can just dump out of the ROM don't care. There's no reason for them to be in there. Maybe edit. And again, that's not, edit isn't huge. If we have a look over here, we've got 6 to 8 there. So it's nearly, actually it's nearly 6 to nearly 9 there. So we'll call it 6 to 9. Sorry, press the wrong button. And 9 minus 6, so 9000. Is that really right? No, it can't be right. Edit. Yeah, 9000. Yeah, that's minus and 6000. No, that can't be right. It is indeed correct. 12k is edit. That doesn't feel right to me. That really doesn't feel right. Maybe it is. Maybe that's all the size that edit is. But the reason that that's so small is because a good chunk of the things that edit uses are in riscoslib, which is built into the shared C library. And the reason it's built into the shared C library is because edit, draw, paint, alarm, chars, well, help, that bunch, possibly not chars and alarm because they're in basic, are linked against it. So they share some space, they reduce the size of it. But shared C library is made complicated by having riscoslib in it. And if the only thing that would need to use riscoslib is edit, and there's nothing else in the ROM that needs to share it, then remove riscoslib from the shared C library, just have it in edit, and then your complexity of the shared C library goes down, and you're no longer building up a module wrapped version of edit, but you can actually put it as an application in there as well instead. And it just be a normal application like anything else, and no special module messing around, because that's pointless. So the whole thing can become much, much simpler if you just start applying these things. Of course, these are all things that we did in select. I didn't select because I needed the space. And if you're recognizing that there is an issue with these things and you want to try and address them rather than just bundle more things in without ever rationalizing things, then you're going to have problems, and that's why it's ended up that way. That is my rant over for the moment. I'm sure we will rant again at something else, almost certainly. Where was I? How did I get to that? Oh yeah, that was the thing about having 4 meg ROMs and the fact that it gets bigger. So we're looking at this and we're going, there's the bug, and there's the control string management. So what we can do with that is we can just get back to here and we'll just start, let's stage that one, right? Git commit -a, not -a, sorry, git commit. Fix for comment error in file prologue. So that one done. Now improve the debugging. Improve debugging to replace write 0 with string with control terminated writing. Not being written Alan says, it sounds so simple and obvious in 2026. I may say that it sounded pretty simple and obvious back to me in 2004 when I did it, but that's just the thing. Also, that has been described in my Riskos rambles, so this has been known to people for quite some time. Anyway, that's me. Whoops, I pressed something there. That was weird. I pressed the menu key. Oh, the menu key does something. Who knew? Not me. I think is that just this? It's the same as the right button. Right, click. Okay, and then got unhappy. We now have a function to write terminated. Dated strings properly. Thank you very much. And then finally, git commit -a fix for the validation strings and indirected text not being padded. Validation strings and indirect text were not padded because the calculations were being performed in the wrong order. We worked out how to pad, how much to pad, single D, then incremented the amount we wrote, and finally used the amount we wrote to do the padding. Zero padding because it was the same as the length. There we go. Done. Push that, and then we should be able to build cd dot. There we go. Build it again, and then what we'll do is we'll go through our tests again of running all the applications and seeing what breaks and what doesn't. It's fun, isn't it? So we should have all the debug turned off now. Screen sharing, quit basic. If anybody has a way of turning off these little rounded brackets on this, it would be lovely, because it really is dumb. I mean, really dumb. I mean, you would think, oh, we'll complain to Apple, but they just don't listen these days. I mean, yeah, they do sometimes, but they seem to be pretty bullish on the aesthetics thing. And if Steve Jobs was here, I think we would have a much better attitude, because he was something of a perfectionist and also like really practical. Look, it looks shit. It looks shit on a number of things, and at the very least on the screen sharing app it will always look shit. And calm. Right, we loaded, we booted, so this is good. Let's do our loading everything. No point in really loading digital CD because it's going to I can't access the the CD drive, but there we go. Just check that doesn't crash. Yeah, just not formatted because there's nothing there. Kino amp, close that. AM player, yeah, fine. Strong edge. Did Python work? Yeah, Python did. Otter browser didn't. NetSurf, we've got to fire it up because that was the one that was really crashing for us. Yeah, cool. Let's do a quick look at BBC News, see how unrenderable it is in this version. Oh, so slow, so slow. It's thinking. It is thinking. Right. Anyway, that is loading. Let's go to Paint up, Edit, Configure. We went through a few of these, didn't we? Yeah. Internet is a bit of an oddity because it's a special application. Oh god, it's awful. So yeah. I know I shouldn't just rag on Viscos 5, but there's many of these things that have just been left since Viscos 4 and really haven't been updated. So BBC News is a exceptionally poor rendering there. That is very bad. Oh, I mean, these graphics work, and you can get through it, I suppose. Wonderful. Okay, it works. System. That's another app, and that's a different app. Yeah. Resizing, all working. Yeah, that looks good. Cancel. Programming. Let's have a look at see what we've got in here. App Basic. What's App Basic? It's not a device. App Basic is not a device, so it shouldn't be on the left-hand side. I can't resize that. It has ugly tabs. Ugh. I have no idea what this is, but it looks pretty nasty. Each their own. Strong Edge. That's modes for it. I'm assuming they've already been installed. Tools, CC Res. Yes, look, I can't get CC Res to build for Linux. Somebody could give that a whirl. My app. Well, that didn't do anything. Okay. Examples. Animate. Oh, look, it changed colour when I clicked on it. Does it go back again when we close it again? It does. Ooh. Drag to copy. Drag me. That's kind of fun. I like these sort of little demos. They're quite nice to have. Some draw demos, yeah. Drawing. Oh, is this actually we can draw things? No, it's just saying we can draw things on the window. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. So there's stuff there. That's cool. Most of that's all in. Obviously, Dr. Wimp is largely basic, so I mean, there's not going to be very much that's likely to break there. PHP is there's no front end to that. Oh, there's a front end to it. Yeah, fair enough. Lua. Yeah, again, I think it's just a. Ooh, no, stop that. I didn't mean to click on that. Close, close, close. Python we've already looked at. MessageMon as a module. Reports things, I think. Toolbox things. ResCreate. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't follow the standard. ResEd. Give me some prototypes. Give me a. Window isn't big enough. Because it's got the dates. Date is an object now, apparently. Okay. Doesn't have a configuration tool. Wonderful. Give me a window. Give me a window. Thank you. Window. Give me some gadgets. Yeah, so this has loaded its internal templates fine and hasn't crashed. Let's just check the. Ooh, we had something appearing at the bottom of the screen there. That was weird. I have no idea what went on there. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That was very odd. F12. Was that me? Did I do something with that? It's possible. It's quite likely, in fact. Maybe I've got a VDU4 hanging around somewhere. I think that probably is the case. So that's probably useful to know. This seems to be working, yeah. Res test, I can't bother with that. It's just using the toolbox, so it's not going to have a problem. Sorcery. Is that a C management stuff thing? I don't know. Initializing. It's taking its time. I'm assuming this is a project manager for managing the project files and things. An exceptionally poor rendering is a understatement of the year, says Alan. I should try and keep some of my opinions. Oh dear, cannot back up. Well, Yeah, you've only loaded. You should never back up your. You should never do any traces writes during your startup, unless you're actually reading. You should never do anything. So that is broken. Give me a new thing. Oh, I don't care. I don't want to do lots of writing. Utils. Ah, there we go. That was WinEd. Whole mask. Wanted. Charm. Huh. Huh. Source for charm available. That's odd. That's a file with an ampersand at the beginning. That's not a valid file name, is it? Pretty sure it's not. No close icon there. That's not very nice. Tools. Charm compiler. Huh. I mean, if we've got a charm. Hang on. Is that the source for the? It's written in charm. Okay, that's fun. Okay, that might be a bit more tricky to make work on 64-bit, but yeah, possibly. Might close that. That's the programming directory. What have we got in apps? Cache book. That's not a terrible thing, I suppose. Seems to have loaded all its templates and doesn't seem to have done anything bad. Fireworks, that's a bit bigger. Yeah, let's get me a letter, please. Some bowls. Give me some windows. Style. Give me some styles. Yeah. So from what I remember, fireworks, when it goes wrong, generally crashes quite early in its whatever it's called, startup. Yeah, so that looks okay. Same goes for Pipe Dream. They crash quite early if the templates are failing. Yeah, that seems to be. I mean, it's also not as bad as I thought, because I mean, using it in Pyromaniac with the emulated OS is still pretty speedy. It's not much different to that. Maestro, yeah, that's Maestro. Don't really care. I mean, it loaded its templates and things. Squash Store. That's Pling Store. I've never really looked at any of these stores and things. Director. Oh gosh, does Director still work? Downloading program updating. Installing application. I'm not sure I like things that upgrade themselves automatically when you start them up, but I'm sure it's a configuration option that just happened to be left set. Oh, taking its time. A little bit of crunching here. Director is essential for me, says Spanners. Yeah, I used Director back when I was on using Riscos 2, but I just haven't used it since, really. Because when I was using multiple disks, floppy disks, actual 3.5 ones rather than 5 1/4, it was quite a necessary thing. Yeah, so look at that. That's quite. Yeah, I'd forgotten how nice this can be. Yeah, that won't work. Oh, that's interesting. I may have to go and look at it. I think it's all in assembler, so it's probably not very transferable to 64-bit. These applications. Yeah. Pluto. I forgot Pluto was actually free now. Organizer. Oh, Organizer's already running, isn't it? Organizer's already running. Organizer's also something that often goes bad. It doesn't mind running twice when it's run like that. Psycalc. They're quite interesting buttons. I know we had some interesting ones for Riscos 4 as well. We did. audio and video, and FFmpeg. Come on, we got any examples? Sampled. That's a thing, yeah, fair enough. Okay. Again, nothing's managing to crash so far, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. Go into graphics. Text effects, sorry. Is this like oh, I can't remember what the thing was called. Oh, that seems to be doing. Oh, I like this. Oh, I want to play with this later. That isn't working right. Oh, okay. That is working right now. Oh, quite like that. Shadowing, After Effects, lens flare, update. Oh, and you can change your positions on it. Except you could go, yeah, there you go. You do that, update. I don't know what the hourglass thing does. Auto update, okay. Render. Oh, so that's going to actually like make it happen. Oh dear, Sprite doesn't exist. Ooh, okay. Can I reproduce that? Where was it? What's it called? I've forgotten already. It's text effects, isn't it? Okay, let me just try the render button and see if it... Okay. So the question is, does that happen normally without our stuff? Sprite doesn't exist, he's a cat. Ooh, that one died as well. Interactive handle right error. I suspect that we've done a close zero on things. Yeah, it looks like that there was some badness. I don't think that was me. I mean, it might be me. It's entirely possible it was me, but we're going to give it a whirl anyway. So this is without our Wimp. And this was in graphics, text effects. So what we did there was we did this. Okay, nothing to do with me. Really not my problem. And if I shut down and reboot, yeah, I'm going to assume that something along the line broke some things. Now, if we go back into it again, start it up with the thing, with the system here. Okay, so what I want to do now is go through some more of these. So we had the graphics we'd done, impression. This is something that always cut. Oh, fine, okay. Run Emulor. Do I just run this? That's interesting. We're logging something apparently. Something is being written or constantly. F12 CP. Yeah, don't know what it is, but there's definitely something happening that's causing things to be written regularly to the disk. We're regularly triggering something. Don't know what, but that'll be, you know, the Emulor doing something. I don't know what. Not going to worry about it. Track application systems. Okay. I've never really used Emulor, so I quit that. Bang. Oh, and we're still logging something. That's curious. I'm not really sure what to make of that. Definitely don't think it's a good sign. Use that window. It might be just the logging of the actual window being redrawn. That's probably all it is. Probably nothing to do with anything else. Ignore them. So there we go. It's a thing that isn't configured properly for this environment. Sync disks loads, usage loads. Yeah, usage. Yeah, doing its thing. Snapper. Which window? It's not telling me which window it's actually snapping. Do you have to drag it? Control. Don't know how that's going to work. Fine, don't care. Sync disks, SparkFS. Yeah, should be fine. Fantastic. You know what that is? Right, font group managing. Yeah, fair enough. Patch. Access plus. Where did that load there? So that should be over here because it's a device. It's a filing system actually, so it should be over that side. Caution. It's H-form and the like. Yeah, don't do that. Patches swap. Text management. Well, most importantly, does Zap load? Because if Zap doesn't load, then the whole system's completely useless. Yeah, there we go. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want strong edge. Right. So all I've been doing so far, Doctor. That's an interesting one. Don't think I've. It puts things there. Oh, kind of cute. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be working. All right. So what we have done so far is identified that things are going okay, but we do potentially have a VDU4 ending up somewhere. So something about our debug may have gone wrong. Let's just have a look at this. So if so this is only if debug is set do we do these ones. Otherwise they just become empty operations. Fair enough. We have a look in templates here. Debug. Oh, but then in this side we also have some happening. What's going on here? I don't want those over this side. Do I? No. So let's take those out. And if we're in the Asm Wimp, then just include them. Yeah, fair enough. And then for module, yeah, I've got none in there. Templates, we just looked at Swise. All right, so that seems like a good plan. RM, delete everything, and then build. And what I'm going to try is just have a quick look inside. So grep for swy in s_c/star. Oh, here we go. Here's some swy calls in templates. Excellent. So let's have a look at that. s_c/templates. See if we've got a swy call in there. Right. Oh, it's in write hex. Yeah, and write control, which are only for the debug side of things. That's not a big deal. We don't need to care about that. In which case, I'm happy. So let me just commit that. CD Viscos Wimp Templates. Remove some redundant, unsafe debug code. Move. Let's push that, and also let's build it 64-bit because that'll tell us whether there's anything special about what we've done so far. Probably ought to have cleaned it first, really. Oh no, it seems to be doing stuff. Oh, you're being slow. Is that I've of course got emulator running as well, RPCMU running. So. Oh, Dave mentioned to me that I'd re-implemented offset of, which is in stud.def. I think I can probably fix that since we're here. Where is it? Let me find it. Correct format are offset of. There we go, in templates. Offset of. There we go. So if I remove that and replace it up here with hash include stud def, then we should also be able to build it. Use this window so it's a bit faster. Make the module. Make the test program. Yeah. Just kill everything and actually build the lot. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like it's okay there. Having re-implemented offset of, at least I've now got it to. I now know where it is. Oh, wrong window here. with reminded. Yeah. There we go, push that. And what I should do is go and check that this has actually been building properly in CI, because if it hasn't, then we got a problem. Yeah, it's still building. Looks good to me. Build Viscos. Might have a look at it, mightn't we? Just check it's there. Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool, huh? Right, that's built. Go back over here. Oh, and what we need to do here is we need to make this a release so that we can actually use it in the. Oh no, we don't need to make it a release, do we? Because it's we're using it as a submodule. So otherwise, we'd have created it as a release, and then in the release system here, we'd have pulled the archive down and used it. But because we're just using it as a submodule, we can use it directly. But to use it as a submodule, we need to tell this code to use it. Add Viscos Wimp Templates. Commit A. Okay, what we're doing here is updated the C code to fix comment error, debugging, failure to pad indirect strings. Indirect strings were not being written properly, and this caused crashes in applications like Nextsurf, and the standard error box didn't come out word wrapped, warped, wrapped. Full stop. other changes. Let's say full knit summary. Copy, paste. And replace those with hyphens, so we end up with a nice list rather than a block quote if it turns out it's marked down. All right, that is good. Okay, push that to here, and then we can have a look. If we have a look in Viscos 5 build here in actions, we should see this is now building. It'll take a few seconds as before, but we'll build that. And since we've got this working, what we'll do is we'll go and put in a release for this and actually have it as released, which will be nice. It's done. Sorry, I was staring into space going, why is it not finished? It's finished. It's done. We are complete. And then we can actually go to the top, look at the summary, and in here you'll see Viscos build, which is the Wimp file that we can download to use it. Go there. That'll start downloading it. Come on. And then I can go and look at it. Come on, give me a window. There's a window. Over here, sorry. Extract. There we are. And there's the Wimp module. Let's turn it called Wimp 2 because we've already got a Wimp module somewhere in my large over 3,000 files that I've got in that directory. Yeah, so that's good. So let us do a release, shall we? Yeah, we might as well do the release of that. Now, the interesting thing about this is that we want to be able to identify it individually. So the module is identified by saying it's a experimental version, but let's go and put the what's it called, the name in the tag. So here we go. Git tag, I believe we can do this, v0.0. Actually no, it should be version number of the things. What is version num? What version are we? Git tag v 5.87 C templates. I believe this should work. Git push the to origin v 5.87 C templates. Okay. Oh, no, don't push to origin. Sorry, push to GitHub. Sorry, can't push to GitLab. Can't push to the Viscos open repository. So again, this should just build. It'll take what, 20 seconds or so to build that, 24 seconds I think it took last time, something like that, not quite sure. And then once that's finished, it'll move on to the release phase. Have a look at that. Come on, there we go. Creating release. So it downloaded the binaries, created a release, and then it's done. So what we do there is we're going to have a look at the releases on here, and we can then say we can create our new release notes. And the release notes for this are summary, integration of the C templates repository. Let's give it the name, shall we? Here we are. C templates loading repository into the Viscos 5 WindowManager. The C code here has been tested manually using the Viscos direct image in Docker hub dots. That's the one there, please. That one there. Copy. Where's it gone? Where have I gone? This one here. Again, we can put this into, make it a link. And the applications within it. Features. C implementation of the window template loading code. That's it really, isn't it? Automatically built using the Viscos build system. Again, I can go and link to that. I might as well, mightn't I? https:/build.viscos.online. Please raise any bugs on the GitHub repository issues. Let's go and put a link to that as well. Oh, not that one, this one here, isn't it? Copy link. We've got an issue already. Why have we got an issue already? Is it an issue I raised? It probably is, isn't it? Let's just have a quick look at it. Before we do a release, let's see what somebody has said, whether it's me or not. Wimp test. I'm not really. Oh, right, okay, yes, this is somebody. Oh! Why did I not get a message for this? I should have got a message for an issue being raised. That's weird. They got some strange results here. Oh, that's odd. And this is the yes. So these would have told me if I'd looked at the blooming issues, I'd have known. Because what's happened is it's lost the R validation off the indirections, and then it's corrupted these because it's not incremented the strings. So this is actually colours, and then immediately run into this string. Oh, damn it! That's what happens when you don't pay attention to this stuff. This issue should now be fixed. Part of the validating where I have fixed the code. Check out the new WindowManager release at, and then we'll go and post a copy of the link once we get there. Right, so this is this one. Publish release. It's called it 5.87, but it's labeled it as C templates. So that's not too terrible. Look in here. Yeah, there we go. Copy, and then put that comment there. Actually, I should also say thank you for reporting this. Close with a comment. Oh, and also, please reopen if this bug remains. All right, good. Assign myself as well so that I get notified when it comes in. Now, I should have got a notification for that. Why didn't I get a notification? It's probably because, yeah, in here, if you have a look, do I have a .github? I don't have the issues thing, so GitHub, sorry, Viscos project create PR. so slow that it's almost entirely down to the startup of the thing. Startup of the environment. Add that directory, the pull request templates, and the code owners, and the workflow for issues as well, which will ensure that I always get notified. Oh, that didn't copy. And we don't need the GitLab ones. That's fine. Also, if I'm just adding SC, the S_C directory, because we don't need that at the moment. So that ignored. Yeah, there we go. Commit as a add templates for GitHub issues. Hello Zun40. I'm just finishing off part of my project, which is a Riscos module integration of some C code, so putting some C code into some assembler, and assembly, sorry. And it's working, so I'm literally just finishing off and doing some admin, and then I'll have a break, and then I might do something else. I'm going to just have a see how I feel. Add templates for GitHub issues and PRs. This adds the templates to make it more guided when people raise PRs and issues, and the code owners so that I get assigned and then notified of their creation. Cool. And we can push that as well. And I want to cherry pick that onto the master branch as well. So that it can pick that change there. There we go. Because otherwise we won't get pushed to GitHub, please. We won't have it happening elsewhere. Now, if we do fetch all here, right, so master has been changed on the origin. There's been some changes since I last did things. So git log, oops, log those changes. Wrong spike search order in low res or mono modes. Okay. Simplifying Wimp set color. Micro optimizations, that's what we need these days. And option display, that's just making the existing option configurable. Again, the icon bar should be abstracted out of the window manager, not more things added into it like this. However, we could pull those changes in. I don't want to right now because I've done a test. I can pull those in later. So we now have a release up there. If we go to here and we look at the releases, we see there there's a release present and a release present there. So everybody should be able to see those externally as well, which is quite nice. I'm quite happy with that. So we're at a good point with the window manager now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and take a short break, 10 minutes or so, and then I'll come back and we'll have a think about what we're going to do next, because I'm not really sure where I'm going next with this. I think we're looking like we've got a good position with it, but there is an extra bit of testing that we could do and some changes. I've only got another hour, and I kind of, as I'm finished, I don't want to start something else. So I kind of would like to maybe just sort of finish things off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break for 10 minutes, get a drink and the like, and then I'll come back. If anybody has any questions about things as they stand, or generally the Riscos 64 project or anything like that, please post them in the chat. and I will try and answer and sort of just talk around those things, and then I might just have a quick look at it and sort of see what is going on with the bug that was raised on the Riscos forums. I may look at it, I may not. I mean, it's a real bug, but I think it's one that we don't handle here, and I think we may need to look at that. I may look at it offline. So that's the current state of things. Okay, so going to take a break, come back in 10-15 minutes, and then yeah, we'll just sort of wrap this bit of the project up, I think. I hope people have been enjoying it so far. We'll be back in 10 minutes or so. All right, bye. Hello, I've come back to find that there's no questions here. Well, fair enough. Let's have a see what I was saying I was going to do. Right, yes, so what I said I was going to do was have a look at the bug that was raised inside the Riscos forums. However, whilst I was doing this, I was also remembering that we're not doing an export in the same way that I was expecting. So Alan's also said, what's next in my plan? So I'll come to that. I will come to what's next because we'll have a look at the Riscos status repo and we'll have a see where we're going with that. And I'll have a talk about these things. But let me just, I will go and have a quick look at this. So yes, I will answer that, Alan. Once I've remembered what my head is just being a little bit dopey today. We had I had a nice evening out at the Corn Exchange in Cambridge with my wife, and we went to see Foil Arms and Hog, which was a lot of fun. It was a very, very fun evening. So yeah, we got home and then food and just ended up being very, very tiring all round. Yeah, so what I was saying was I remembered that when we build this, we're using a very limited template here that doesn't do a huge amount, and I think I've updated my template to do more now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and expand that to have the more modern form, and the way to do that is to be very lazy, just regenerate it. So if I just do create CI, what it'll do is it'll go and overwrite everything. So slow, so slow. Okay, there we go. And then we can do a git diff tool on the .github, it's diff tool full stop. And we can see what the differences are. Oh, come on. I wonder if you can make it lock workspaces. That'd be really useful, wouldn't it? So this is the differences between what I had and what I've just written. So I want to go and keep the bits that are necessary. There's an export our headers and libs. We could run that. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah. Then we build. Then we want to test that the loading start. What? There's a bit missing here where it actually like loads the module. Why is that bit missing? Where it builds the module. Oh, this is stupid. What? How have I got it? You got confused. I don't know what's happened here. So what it should do is build the code as well. Have I broken Riscos project? It's very strange. Maybe I'll pinch it from one of the other modules that I've got lying around instead. Maybe that'll help. I mean, so that's good. That's good. I want this bit to do the build the component. Yes. So that needs to live in here. Yeah. So exporting the component is a good idea. Yes. Then build it. Then run some tests, which we just load the module. We know this doesn't work, so let's turn that off because it doesn't work on Pyromaniac. And then kill it. We don't need to do that either. Let's just drop that as well. And then we do the copy artifacts to the release directory, which is putting it in artifacts. So that's a little bit different. Yeah, there we go. So let's see if that works. And the easiest way to see if it works is to go and run it. Yeah, so let's move this out of the way. Yeah, close it and then move it out of the way. Yeah, there we go. And then if I go and run it, so Riscos build run this directory. So everything and row build.yaml. I think if I've done this right, Oh, this is not. This is an old build of the. I need to go and rebuild the Docker environment. Echo. That'll do. Just do something there. I've been putting a lot of work into trying to get the build environment. Can't find it. Okay. CHS make star options. What other directory files we got in here that we need to send? Header. Come on, give me something else to send. Version. All those files. Anything else? No, just make file comma fe1 and then row builds. There we go. Hopefully that'll send sufficient. Oh, I didn't send the Riscos. Oh, okay, that's fine. You didn't send that anyway because those files aren't there. It's actually cannot send to the build server. I'm in the wrong branch, aren't I? Check out back into the old branch. Back into the old branch. There we go. That should do it. No such directory H. Okay, we'll just take that one out then. All this is being surprisingly slow. I'm a little bit bored. Oh, okay, we finally started up. Yeah, something is very wrong with my build environment here. Although these could be messages from the build server itself. Build.discuss. Got errors. Oh, I didn't export the resources directory. Let's send resources as well. Yeah, the build server's up and running. It's doing its thing. So it's not, it connects very quickly. You get a flash up here to say that it's loaded, it's connected to it. And if you go to the console, I think we get a little bit of debug in there to say, oh no, I may have turned the debug off. I don't know. Yeah. Oh well, doesn't matter. Not a big deal either way. Oh, come on. I'm feeling very, very sad that this is so slow. I have obviously broken, I definitely have broken something. Right, well, whilst this is doing, I will talk about what's next on the plan. So next on the plan is expected to be moving on to the next bit of what the Riscos status tells me is probably useful. That didn't work. It said it couldn't find file rm not found. Yeah. That's because you didn't build it. Compare dot against dot slash joystick. Not that one. Riscos joystick. There we go. This is a project that I was working on over the weekend, earlier in the week, sorry. And it has, I'm pretty sure it has the right bits in it. Here we go. Yeah, so it has these bits in it that go and do build module RAM 32-bit, 26-bit, and then, yeah, I don't want to load the module or anything. And then that's, yeah, that's it. So that's what it should have been doing. I'm not sure how Riscos project broke on that. It's probably just I haven't rebuilt the environment for a while. Probably. So yeah, run it again. So what I was saying was we'll have a look at the status repository. So let's have a look at that. RISC-OS64 status. That's this one here. So let's just look at the wiki root. No, I want to look at the wiki root, please. Because I've got the template stuff is all now functional. Here we go. So we've got a reasonable amount of phase 1 done, and I'd like to get to the point where this is finished. So the next bit is to try and have a look at the things that have not been completed. So Buffer Manager, I've got partway through it and then got stuck. CLIV, I've not even started on. Error log, I've got working, but I haven't fully tested. FS commands, I haven't done anything on yet. NVRAM hardware is basically just you can get that to a prototype relatively easily, and I think, yeah, that might be an interesting one I'll do offline, but I'll give that a whirl shortly. OS commands, I've got to the point where it's stubbed, but I need to add some more commands to it and things. OS pointer stub is probably an easy one to do manually. We could do that online or offline, I'm not sure. Screen blank, I just need to get built to the point where I'm happy with it, and I can't get there yet. Timer Manager, oh, I think Timer Manager's not too bad actually. I think I could probably get that working quite quickly. Here we go. This has now failed with not being able to find the AOF32 directory. Why is that? Build RAM, build ROM, build ROM. The ROM version for 26-bit is just building. In fact, both of those are just building. Oh, because this is a. Oh, okay. Because this is assembler, it doesn't do it the same way. Oh, okay. Oh, it's an ASM module, not a C module. That's why it didn't put the extra bits in, and that's why this bit hasn't worked. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just skip that for now. Then we'll make that not needed. Okay. I've clearly got a little bit more work to do on this bit. Again, I was not expecting to be building assembler modules. That's the main reason that this is not a working thing here. Fine. So I'll just remove the ROM modules as well. So build the modules for ROM, that can go as well. Yeah, they're gone. That's quite sad, but not a big deal. And then rerun it again. Yeah, Time Manager, I think because that's mostly just implementing an interface, it's pretty simple. And Utility Module is essentially the implementation of GOS, star-GOS, which is the command loop that you get on boot up. I could drop video software. Again, it's just an interface to a stub level, but GOS is really quite useful. Video teletext just needs some testing. So probably something like Utility Module would be an interesting one to try doing. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting one to try doing. I think we could probably get somewhere with that. And then OS commands, not sure about that one. I've got a little way with it, but yeah, I need to move it out. Most of these modules that are completed, or at least completed to phase 1 level, I've not got public versions yet. We can make those public as well. But that's I think where we're going to go. Oh, read line's not quite complete. Oh, yeah. So the reason that some of these can't be functional, like Buffer Manager and read line, is that I haven't defined what the what's it called? The claim and redispatch handler should look like in 64-bit for vectors. So normally for vectors, you claim the vector by just you return from the vector by returning to R14, and you claim the vector by pulling R14 off the stack. Now that's fine, but in 64-bit, that it means putting extra value on the stack. It makes the whole implementation of how the vectors are dispatched is reliant on that particular behavior, and it's also a quite nasty way of handling it, because if you want to redispatch something or dispatch something to all the lower handlers, you have to preserve some registers and pass them on, and it's just a bit of a pain. So I'm thinking that I need to have a better way of doing that, so that it's both claims are handled properly and redispatches are handled properly. I mean, potentially we could get rid of redispatches, but they're actually used for a few things. I mean, you can use interlocks and try and avoid that, but I would prefer not to. Yeah, so that's the reason at the moment for that. So there's a few of these that are a bit more difficult, but I think Utility Manager is actually probably a good one to try and attack. FS commands also could be quite easy, because it's literally just implementing some simple command handling that calls off FS control. It's pretty boring, but it just shows how some particular things can be done very easily. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm thinking at the moment. I have a number of things that I want to do for myself on my own time rather than in the live coding, but I'm not. I just don't want to. I basically want to do some experimenting with things. There's also things in phase 2, which could be interesting, because there's a lot of this that hasn't been done. Phase 1 will be complete. I was hoping to get it completed by March. We're at the end of March nearly, and it hasn't gone much further. So that's a little bit of a frustration. Other things I do want to do. So there's a number in here. So like basic is actually probably at the point. It's certainly at the point of investigate. I don't know if you can call it a stub at the moment, but I think what Steve Revel has said is that it's pretty much at that stage. He's not happy to release it or anything, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, I mean, maybe you would call it built. It's not actually like implemented fully. It's just you've got something that's built. Things like block devices, I've spoken to Chris Johns, and I think we're now at the point where that can be made to work. It just needs some extra bits to make that happen. CDFS is all in assembler, so we need a CDFS system. Chris has been looking at some bits on that. We've sort of looked at some open source CDFS implementations, and I think there's some good examples out there we could use. Color trans, probably not too bad. DDUtils, yeah, it's vector handling and stuff. That's a bit more difficult. Desktop could probably be done. Not too bad, I don't think. Display Manager a bit harder. Again, getting the application system up and working, bit of a pain. Drag a sprite's painful. Draw is an interesting one because we need to be able to make it work, and then it just needs to call down to the plot line or plot polyline code. So it probably isn't too bad, even to get to a stub level. Again, a bunch of these down here. File switch, however, is one that I want to start splitting out. So you know I've got these kernel sections that are all split out into different different parts. File switch is one of them. And if we have a look up here, I've started expanding this so that there's actually a lot of different notes in here of FS side registration, FS side calls for enumeration, and public side calls for enumeration, and so on. Just breaking out the different parts, because what I'm doing in the Pyromaniac implementation is to provide the sort of file access and enumeration, and that's working. I don't know if have I sort of discussed that. So Asynnym, can't spell it. Cinema. So cinema here, and then I want to go to users Gerph. I'm not logged in, so I think it's a users Gerph. Is that how you do it? That's not how you do it. I don't know how you do it. Let's have a look. Oh, stop it. All right, let's have a look. So if I click on a username, here we go, and then tilde. Oh, old school. So you do that. So this is the example of the first filing system registration here. So if you want to look at that, and this basically shows that in Viscos Pyromaniac, we can now load up CDFS and do some things, and that's a bare directory. We have a fs directory that contains cdfs. We've got a cdfs within that, and then we can start reading cdfs directories off the mounted ISO image that I've got. And you can sort of see there that there's files in there. They've got read-write access. We can see information about them and back from January. And then if you try dumping the files, if you have a look at this, come on. I think this is the bit where it breaks. Go on. Command completion works. There we go. Inappropriate operations, we can't call open on it. This is the first of the calls for that. I'm not sure. So is there a private one that I've published as well? Let me just have a look on my own. No, I haven't. So there must be, there's clearly a video I've got somewhere, a MP4 video that contains even more information about that and demo and things. But I've obviously not published those yet. So that's an interesting thing to work on next in the future anyway. So yeah, that's a pretty large block of work to sort of expand on that. And if the way to work through it is to go, well, we can do registered filing systems, then we can do enumeration, we can do some of these bits, we can start opening files and doing read and write, buffered and unbuffered. There's two different ways of doing it. Yay! And then we can start looking at all of the file operations, like creating files, deleting files, renaming them. Load to memory is easy. Things like that. Those can be done, and I'm doing it in the way of I will implement first in Pyromaniac, and then I can go and start writing a module to do it, or write the definition of what a module will be for that. So there's a lot to do in there, and of course all the filing system, image file system, and extensions as well. So there's a lot to do there. If we go back from there, there's a bunch of things in here. Territory Manager. This is an interesting one. So Territory Manager has apparently been implemented. So if we have a look at iconbar.com, show report, some notes. Stops doing that snooze again. Yeah, Territory Manager has now been written in C, apparently. But I've got no evidence of that, because if we go to GitLab Riscos open, and then go and explore the source, and have a look at territory. Okay, why did that not come up with it? I need to be in projects, that's why. Territory. There we go. So there's Ben Avison version. I wonder if I had looked at only the basic, that one there. Maybe if you just look at Ben and see whether it's on Ben's thing. Cross compilation support. No, it doesn't look like anything. We can check this again by looking at the graph and see what's done there. Nope, cross compilation was February 23rd. That was last month. Hasn't been pushed at all. So that's forked from here. So we have a look at the fork of it, the original version, and have a look at this. Oh, merge request there. That's just the cross-compilable one. So whilst they've said it is there, it's not actually in the open source repository, and so isn't visible. Maybe it's been put somewhere else. I don't know. It's definitely worth asking, and then we can put it into the Riscos environment, and I can build a version that is 64-bit. Spanner says open because it's part of their Riscos Opens name. But yeah, that's the that's something that we can then start pulling in as well. There's some other bits. Wimp introspection. Oh, I haven't done Wimp introspection. I did some kernel introspection. So again, I can do some more of that. There's a bank holiday weekend coming up, and I'm planning to do a block of work in that. I don't know how much, but I'm planning on doing some. It would be nice if anybody working on the 64-bit, like Riscos Open, were to actually communicate what they're doing, and we can put it into the plan that we've got here. One of the other interesting things that they said in the presentation was that they're working to create a roadmap for the move to 64-bit, which they claimed they weren't going to do, and they weren't going to do any part of that and be involved in any part of it. And as you know, I've got at least a good degree of planning, if not like fully laid out exactly what to do in each individual state. But there is a lot in here, and nobody's spoken to me, so yeah. I will continue with my plan, since they can be involved if they want to. If they don't want to be involved, then that's their choice. Yeah, so those are the bits where I'm thinking of going to next. That's not it. That's what I'm going to be. So there's also, obviously, look at phase 3. If you have a look at phase 3 here, and the progress on this, you'll see there's limited things here. I've done bits on draw file. Boot commands is kind of working. Oh, let me just stop that. Sorry, give it another half hour, because I'm not going to be doing much more after this. RTC and stuff. There's bits done here, but there's still a lot to do on this, because yeah, we've still got a lot of things to work on. Stage 4, we're down at 3%. You can see now we're just haven't spent the time. Owner banner is largely functional. Wow, it's not, doesn't do very much. Remote printer support, I got that to build. That was cool. Templating system, this is what we've been working on. And that's it for 4. And then if we look at 5, so I think 5 brings in some of the hardware. Yeah, hardware wiring. So this is something that will definitely need more people who are more specialised on this. There's also some other bits like blend table I've kind of got working, but it needs some big work. Video guard, yeah, it's kind of working, but it needs vector handling. Joystick. Oh, joystick, yes. So joystick. That was the component I was showing a moment ago. Sorry, let me just go back to this bit and we can finish off this. So this is built, and we can now see that it's actually done this. So we've actually got some headers and bits out of that. So I feel pretty good about that. Let's go and commit that. Update the CI to a more consistent version with other tools. Now export the Wimp as 26-bit, 32-bit, and with headers as well. Hopefully that'll work. It won't probably won't work properly, but at least we've done it. Okay, I'll push that. Right, so for now, I think I'm going to call this experiment complete. We'll just say it's done. And I will now go and quickly talk about joystick, because I did an experiment, and we've only got 4 people watching, but hopefully a few more will watch later. So I did an experiment using AI, because as you know, AI is clearly the future, and I don't want to be left behind. So that's kind of the thing. What I did was, and I've got a log of the what I communicated to it a little while back, but basically I said to it, if you give me a second, I can go and pull up what I said to it and have a look. Let's pull it over here. Here we are. And I'll just scroll up and try and find it. Actually, I'll put this down here so I can see it better. Oh no, not over there. Here. Thank you. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, where are you? I thought I put my log in here. No, that was a different. Oh no, that was a different project. A different project. So yes, I do have this in here. So, GitHub.com Gerph Viscos joystick -AI. So this is a repository which was created by AI, like almost exclusively by AI. There is a video of it running here, which is literally just a video of that. So I will show a little bit of it, and here we go. Just so that people can see the sort of thing that I did with it. I'm not going to go through the whole lot. I was using Claude. Yes, we trust it. Blah, blah, blah. And then I gave it some very, very simple commands. I basically said to it, come on. Yeah, I create a new RISC-OS module providing the interface to joysticks. Actually, can you run it a bit faster? Sure, I thought I could run it faster. No, I thought there was an option to do it at 2 times speed. Spin on a bit. There we go. Use the documentation for the PRMs. PRM chapters joystick and joystick for 3.5. Find them with RISC-OS PRM command. Provide stub functions which would access the hardware. That is what I said. It then asked if it was okay for me to do these things, and I just said yes, 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 yes. It started doing things and giving me some information. It tried looking up some extra information about it, and it just kept going and adding things. And then it documented what it had done, and down here we end up with a module. I told it to go, it cost about 41 cents to do the basic thing. And what we got out of it, yeah, at the end I said commit a message with a descriptive message. I basically did no interactions with this other than just telling it what I wanted it to do. And what I wanted it to do was to build me a module based on the PRMs and nothing more. And it did a pretty good job. It didn't do too badly. So basically I did this whilst I was waiting for another AI instance to help me at work. It was just getting on with its thing there. And whilst it was doing it, I did this. Because I could go and watch that every now and then and see what this was doing. And it was not too bad. And so I checked the CI. It was pretty much as is. What did we get out of it? What we got out of it was some C code, all in one file. Now that I should have given it some guidance to split it up. It decided to, it says that they don't use that joystick interface. That's not true. But it's found the addresses of some areas in memory which won't work. It's found some bits and things. It's used this, and this is, I'd said basically to give me a stub. Don't actually implement the hardware, just give me a stub for it. It's defined some errors. Fair enough. These are odd errors. Don't know. Although bad reason code is correct, bad joystick number might actually be correct, I'm not sure. And then we've got the module interfaces where it goes and does the init and then says this is where you do the hardware configuration. This is where you'd stop the conversions and anything else. This is the SWI handler. It's got some implementation for reading 8-bit and 16-bit. It breaks it down and returns errors if there's problems and stuff. It knows to return -1 if SWI not known. Fair enough. It implements it by hardware start conversion. This is an interesting way of doing it. So it basically just, the first call starts the conversion but returns 0, and then you get an answer back. So interesting way of doing it. Not sure it's right, but it's giving you an example of how you could do this and the hardware calls to actually read the data. So we sorry, getting excited makes me coffee. And then some returns, and it's got the same thing again for the 16-bit side of it with some scaling and stuff. So it's all kind of interesting here. And then the stub routines that are saying what it would do, and an example section of code if that particular ADC controller was available. All of which is pretty nice. Is it useful? Probably. Spanners is suggesting that poison gas has escaped and has now killed me because I'm not needed anymore. Now, all of this is AI. It's doing its thing. I've guided it very little here. If I wanted to, I would do more on this and try and provide a better hardware interface, and would maybe look at existing joystick interfaces. Joystick is uninteresting because there were already implementations for this. But it is interesting in the sense of I asked it to use just the PRMs to do this. So it implemented what was in the PRMs. It hasn't done everything though. So one of the things that's missing is the calibration calls. And we saw a little bit of that breaking. I didn't find it. So it hasn't done the calibration calls. I'm actually fine with that because they were never very good anyway. But we could just tell Claude to go and try that. That is something that could be done. So this is a project that I tried. It has pretty much worked. It is very interesting. There is another project that I tried, which is not published yet. Is it not published yet? I don't remember. Did I publish it? Sorry, excuse me. I didn't. Apparently I didn't publish it for JUnit. So that was using Qwen. So Qwen is another AI system, which I wanted to do a comparison of. It doesn't seem quite as good as Claude. It didn't seem to understand quite as much about things. Also, so this is interesting. Claude decided to go give the authorship to Riscos Open, and I asked it, "Why did you do that?" And it went, "Well, you didn't tell me, and so I did this. I shouldn't have. Let me fix it for you," and it would just remove it. So that was also kind of interesting. It's less interesting that even asking it that question costs you money. Yeah, these are things. But this is why you need somebody to actually look at it and to see what's going on, and see whether it's right until it's not. So I gave it a for this implementation in Claude, I gave it just the PRMs. For the JUnit XML, JUnit XML is a reporting format for test results. I had done a spec 4 years ago, which was just an amount of text that describes what so plans. Give me a second. No, don't you. This is it, yes. So you can probably see this, but I'm going to go and drag it over to this other screen here so that we can actually see it a bit more easily. There we go. So this was what I went and did. I'll just bump the size up a little here. I gave it this text that says, I want it to be able to do all of these things. It should be able to handle these things. Here is a SWI interface that I would like you to use. And then here at the bottom, here's some example basic code that should work pretty much. And I gave this to Qwen and told it to go and just use that, do it. And so it read that, asked me a few questions about it, and I had made some spur of the moment decisions on those things, like how time should be handled, how whether we should write things out incrementally or at the end, and things like that. And then it went off and did some things and had a number of problems with the Riscos filing system conventions, the file names being .h, h.blah, or something.h, extensions compared to the directories that we use in Riscos. It got confused about that, but I had to guide it and tell it, do it this way, please. That was sorted out. And after about 6 or 7 minutes, we had a module out that did what it needed. And that was kind of cool. I then had a look at it and went, oh, you've used doubles in there. Stop using floating point. So I told it to stop using floating point, and it stopped using floating point. And then what did I do after that? Something after that. Oh yeah, stop using floating point. Oh yes, then I told it I told it to write out a README file that told us how to use it and things. So it wrote that out, including some basic examples that were more than this. There was more that it had used than that, which was quite nice. And then I told it, using that basic file, use Riscos build run to send it to the build service and fix the bugs. And so it went off and tried to do that, and it started getting itself, it spotted that there were problems. it then tried, it noticed that its file name, in its example, it had used myjunit.xml, and it didn't know what to do with that. So I told it, just replace the file name with this, and then suddenly it's all started working. It found a couple of bugs in the code, fixed them, committed the changes, and then returned to me and says, I'm done, are you okay? And so I then went and told it to add a few more things to it. It was very, very cute. Now, is that the way that we should be writing things? Yeah, I don't know. It is the way that a lot of people are writing things now. But it needs you to know how to drive the system. I mean, this is something you'll hear from everybody who does AI, I'm sure. And I'm only just starting out learning this. So can this be done to accelerate the RISC-64 work? Almost certainly. Is it going to solve all the problems? No, because we still need to use our brains on things. But it can help us to get through a lot more of the work. The best description I've had out of it is, and I'm sure you've heard similar things, is that it can take away the grunt work from some things. Because it's not like building Windows or Linux code, it's not going to be quite the same. It's not going to be quite as good as you would expect. And we're not building web applications. That's one of the things that it appears to be very good. But this is pretty neat. I am quite pleased with it. Are there things that I think should be done differently? Absolutely. One of the other things that was nice on Quen was at the end of it, you can do /insights, and it'll go and process its interactions with you and go, these things were hard, you could give me some guidance about this. These things were not great. If I knew these things, I'd be able to help you more. If you broke down the tasks into smaller chunks, it would be easier to work with. Like, yeah, that's all cool. Anyway, so those are the things that I've been trying to do. So I realize I'm running over time, but I will show another one of the examples that I did. Because this was going, so the pattern you'll see is I'm trying to do this, different things that are relevant in similar sorts of ways. So what I did was, I don't know if people remember, but font qualifiers Python, I think that's what it's called. No, I don't know what it's called. Font qualifiers. Repositories, that one. So I gave it this repository and said, turn this into C code. And so it took the Python file, which, as you can see here, is a parser for font qualifiers, and then it built a C module that was just handling just the calls that were in here. And then I told it to go and do the same for font qualifiers and turn that into a test. And so it built the test, and then I told it how to run the test, and then it ran the test under RISC-OS, and it found that it was not handling certain cases. It was not recognizing overflow. And so it tried out a few different ways of handling it before it settled on using the Erno E range, and then it was happy. And that was quite cool, because it was literally taking a Python implementation that has been tested, that is used in RISC-OS Pyromaniac, and turning it into C code. This means that we can test things in a high-level language, implement them, develop using that, and then migrate over to C, not automatically, but using some guidance and some help. Almost certainly, if I try using that C code in the font manager, I'm going to have problems. But it's got me a long way through that. I would have to rewrite this code myself in C. And I've already written the code here, and I've written the test to make sure it can pass it. So now I have a comparison in the C code that is the same and is going to guarantee that it will work properly, which is blooming awesome. Anyway, so your question was, what's next? What's next is probably going to have a look at something else from phase 1 on the live coding. And on the non-live coding, when I'm doing stuff myself, I am continuing to understand how the build environment works, and with Claude and with Qwen and potentially with Gemini, and to see what I can actually do with this. Which means I might be a bit stalled on some parts of the Riscos64 work, or it might accelerate quite quickly, I don't know. But I need to learn and understand this myself, because then other people can try using it as well. I am very interested in anybody that wants to try out the Riscos build environment with or without using AI, because it's now getting quite mature. It has been very powerful for a while, and you've seen me using it. The slowness today notwithstanding. I'm hoping that people may be involved in that in the future. Yeah. All right. So I think I'm going to call it a day there. We have finished the pretty much finished the Wimp templates. I was going to look into the Wimp templates many font handles problem, but I haven't done that. I'll probably do that offline, or raise a bug on it and have a look. But anyway, that is everything. It's been a very successful day getting the integration working, and I hope you've enjoyed at least understanding how that worked and why there was a silly set of mistakes in that. Next week we'll have a look at possibly FS commands, possibly OS commands, maybe utility module, depends on what I'm feeling like, and maybe that'll change anyway, because I may learn more things and go, ooh, exciting, new toys. Yeah. I was trying to think if there's anything else I need to close with. If you're enjoying this, please do subscribe to the channel. To give us a sponsorship on GitHub if you'd like. I realise we've got hardly anybody here at the moment, but I don't mind. And I will provide feedback back on the Riscos Open discussions in a little while. Have a good afternoon and Sunday, everyone. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.